Honorable Prime Minister of the Republic of Mauritius, Vice President of the Republic of Mauritius, Deputy Prime Minister, Vice Prime Ministers, Ministers, Leader of the Opposition, Members of the National Assembly, Speaker of the National Assembly, Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, and my dear fellow colleagues from the Diplomatic Corps, Lord Mayor of Port Louis, Chairperson of the Pravasi Ghat Trust Fund, Lady Sarojini Jagannath ji, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, मेरे प्यारे भाइयों और बहनों, आप सबको मेरा सादर नमस्कार, a very good morning to all of you, bonjour à tous। आज के दिन 36 भारतीयों ने मॉरिशस के धरती पर 188 साल पहले पांव रखा था। इस पावन अवसर पर हर भारतीय आज हमारे साथ उन्हें नमन करता है। Ladies and gentlemen, I feel deeply humbled and greatly privileged to represent India on the solemn occasion marking the 188th anniversary of the arrival of indentured Indian labourers to Mauritius. I must tell you that personally for me, every time I come here, it's a very moving, emotional moment for me. This is the place where it all began. This is the place where the foundational ties between Mauritius and India, the umbilical ties of blood, sweat and tears of the indentured Indian workers, and also the beautiful bonds of our shared language, our shared tradition, our shared cultures all began. And so this was the very first place that I visited when I came as the High Commissioner of India to Mauritius 2 years ago. Nobody recognized me then, so like a tourist, I spent a long time in the very moving Pravasi Ghat Museum. And as I climbed the 16 steps, I paid a very solemn homage to our forefathers who came here almost 200 years ago and built this beautiful paradise island. For the same reason, on 21st of June this year, we chose this sacred place, which is almost like a pilgrimage site for me and for all Indians, to celebrate the International Day of Yoga, marking the 75th anniversary of India's independence. And today, when we embark on celebrating 75 years of the diplomatic relationship between our two beautiful countries, I am delighted to celebrate, for the first time for me personally, this special day with such a large gathering of people. Because last year we had COVID restrictions. It was a much smaller event, and that was my first November 2nd Pravasi Divas celebration. So I'm really happy to see this day being celebrated in its normal pomp and glory today. Yesterday I had the privilege of visiting Fuliyar village, the village where the first 36 Indian indentured workers went to work after they arrived in Mauritius. And I believe after 4 decades, a commemorative event was held yesterday. I think the last time was to celebrate the 150th anniversary of the arrival of indentured workers. Sir Anirudh Jagannath had organized that ceremony, and I felt so honored and so profoundly moved sitting there, looking at the dramatic enactment of 36 poor, bewildered, homesick Indian laborers who made their future in an unknown land called Mauritius. It reminded me why this day, the 2nd of November, is not just important for Mauritius or for India. It's important for the whole world because I think it symbolizes the triumph of an indomitable human will over every adversity. It shows what human beings can achieve despite challenges. The illiterate workers who came from India, they could not read or write. And that's why we call them girmitiyas. I think some of my diplomatic colleagues may not be aware of this. They couldn't even pronounce the word agreement. They would call it grimit. And that's how they came to be known as girmitiyas. Imagine these people who could not even pronounce the word agreement are today the educated backbone of Mauritian bureaucracy and governance. And imagine these illiterate laborers who worked almost in conditions of enslavement. Yesterday I heard that they could not even visit their family members who were working in the neighboring plantation because they did not know how to fill the leave application form, a little form where they had to sign their name. And today, just a few generations later, their descendants are political leaders who had the incredible vision to usher in the Mauritian miracle, transforming a poor monocrop economy into a shining beacon of democracy, peace, progress, and development. I think this deserves a round of applause. To me and to all Indians, what is important is all this was achieved while also retaining Mauritius as a vibrant rainbow nation of different ethnicities, different religions, different languages, different colors. Yesterday, the Honorable Minister of Arts and Cultural Heritage mentioned that this began in Fuliyar the day the indentured workers arrived. Why? Because these 36 laborers cohabited with several workers who came from different countries in Africa. So the multiculturalism of Mauritius was born in many ways on this day, 188 years ago. I feel personally blessed myself to have seen this rich diversity, the rich pluralism of Mauritius firsthand in my 2 years here. Again, just taking the example of 24 hours ago, I began the day witnessing a beautiful Jhumar dance performance yesterday by the Bhojpuri ladies in Fuliyar. A few hours later, I had the privilege of watching a brilliant display of Kuchipudi dance from Andhra to celebrate Andhra Day. And a few days before, I was at the Catholic Church celebrating Diwali. And a few weeks before, I was at the Masjid celebrating Eid on a national scale. This is the beauty of Mauritius. And I dare say, this is also the beauty of my country, India. In fact, it is this same spirit of resilience, determination, aspiration, hard work, embracing of diversity that has also transformed my country from being one of the poorest countries after we became independent to becoming the 5th largest economy in the world today. From being a former colony to becoming the world's largest democracy, despite being home to 1/5 of the world's population. I believe that it is the same spirit that has made the Pravasi Bharatiya or the diaspora Indian also a phenomenon to reckon with. ऋषिराज कन्हैया जी ने अभी जिक्र किया एक और ऋषि जी का, ऋषि सुनक जी का। मैं आपको कहना चाहती हूँ, अभी मैं इंडिया में थी दिवाली मनाने के लिए, अपने माता पिता के साथ दिवाली मना रही थी। I received more messages congratulating me on the appointment of Mr. Rishi Sunak, the Indian origin first Prime Minister of UK, than I did for Diwali. And it all began with people like the Honorable Prime Minister of Mauritius, Shri Praveen Kumar Jagannath ji, who was the chief guest of our Pravasi Bharatiya Divas celebrations at the last event. And apart from Mauritius, we have Indian origin leaders today in Portugal, where I served earlier, in Suriname, in Guyana, in Singapore, Seychelles, and we look forward to having many more in the years ahead. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is to celebrate this spirit of the Pravasi Bharatiya, the Indian diaspora, that we are organizing the next edition of the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas in Indore, in Madhya Pradesh, from the 8th to the 10th of January 2023. Indore, which has been elected as India's cleanest city for 6 years in a row. And it's in Madhya Pradesh, which is the very essence of incredible India. I have to tell you that the theme for this conference this year is Diaspora, Reliable Partners for India's Progress in Amrit Kal. I don't know how many of you know what Amrit Kal is. Amrit Kal is the golden 25 years that lies ahead of India, till the year 2047, when India turns 100 years old. We look at these 25 years as the golden age that will bring India to its rightful place in the Committee of Nations. And we're counting on our diaspora, which is 30 million strong all over the world, to be partners in this transformative Indian story. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I invite all of you, my dear Mauritian friends, to join the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas celebration and make it a success, because Mauritius has always been the largest participant in our Pravasi Bharatiya Divas Day. Always. In fact, I was in India just last week, and everyone from the Prime Minister himself, Shri Narendra Modi ji, to our minister, to our senior officials, they said, "Oh, Mauritius, so we expect a big delegation from you. You are what makes the PBD a success." And last Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, which happened 4 years ago, because we didn't have one after the next 2 years owing to COVID, was when the Honorable Prime Minister of Mauritius, Mr. Praveen Kumar Jagannath, was the chief guest, and sir, you took a very big delegation with you. People in India have not forgotten, and they want a repeat of the same Mauritian presence this year. I want to thank you, Honorable Prime Minister, for setting up a committee under the able leadership of the Honorable Minister of Arts and Cultural Heritage to coordinate the visit of a Mauritian delegation to our PBD. I want to tell all the others, this huge gathering of 2,000 people, that Madhya Pradesh has two of the most famous UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The Bhimbetka Caves, which has rock art, cave art going back to 30,000 years. 30,000 years, one of the first artistic impressions of humanity. We also have the Sanchi Stupa, the world famous Buddhist heritage site, also UNESCO Heritage Center. Madhya Pradesh is also home to 24 wildlife reserves and 6 of the world's best tiger reserves. And many of you know there are holy cities like Ujjain, Omkareshwar, Mahakaleshwar, and the world famous Khajuraho sculptures, which is a must-see. And not to forget the mouth-watering food, and for the ladies, a special attraction, beautiful Chanderi silk, Maheshwari silk, and batik art saris, and lots of other things to do, fabulous music. So, this is a sales pitch, as you can see. for our Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. Forgive me for using this platform, but Mauritius is truly the one country that epitomizes the very spirit of our Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. So I invite you, भाइयों बहनों, आप भी इंदौर आइए, हमारे साथ प्रवासी भारतीय दिवस मनाइए, हमारे साथ रहिए. I also want to say that there are special discounts for groups of 50 to 100 people, special tour itineraries. We will be discussing all of this on the 7th of November. And I invite the heads of all the socio-cultural organizations to come. Let us know what your expectations are so that we have a mammoth Mauritian delegation to Indore. Finally, before I close, I would like to take the opportunity to wish enhanced growth, peace, prosperity, and development for Mauritius, as has been the case all these years. I also want to reaffirm the commitment of India, the government of India and every Indian, to partnering Mauritius on this growth journey through thick and thin, as we have done in the past. I'm confident that this partnership will only grow stronger and flourish further in the years ahead. I would like to thank the Honorable Prime Minister and the government for their support in this very special relationship in advancing the partnership that our two countries share. आज के दिन मैं और हर भारत के वासी प्रार्थना करते हैं कि मॉरिशस हमेशा प्रगति और विकास के पथ पर ऐसे ही अग्रसर रहे. मैं ये भी आश्वासन देती हूँ कि भारत हमेशा की तरह मॉरिशस के साथ इस सफ़र में कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर चलता रहेगा. वीव मॉरिस, जय हिंद, लॉन्ग लिव इंडिया मॉरिशस फ्रेंडशिप. नमस्ते.